So we're back with another day full of Sonic news. Today we had a Sonic Central streaming video from Sega today, and we also had a preview of Sonic Frontiers, which is always fun to see. IGN again is showing videos throughout the rest of the month with hands-on previews of Sonic Frontiers. And IGN's Mitchell Saltzman jumped into a full Sonic Frontiers impressions video. They covered their thoughts from going hands-on with Sonic the Hedgehog's first foray into this open world design. We also had some commentary from Takashi Iizuka, who's the creative officer at Sonic Team. He went on to say that past games in the Sonic series have taken different tones depending on their stories and themes. This time, these mysterious islands are the game's major. That's why our artists have worked hard to create a mysterious mood. In open world games like Zelda or other AAA games fundamentally have RPG or adventure worlds, but for Sonic, the core here is a 3D action game, and their basic idea was to have that take place in an open space. So what sets Sonic Frontiers apart is this different approach to an open game world, and he went on to say, calling it an open zone instead of an open world. IGN's Mitchell Saltzman went on to say that there's still a little bit of work to be done, but at least Sonic Frontiers appears to be on a solid track when it comes to adapting the Blue Blur's unique gameplay style to a brand new open zone. Now, we've all taken a look at that preview video from IGN, but I want to open up the floor to both of you, Chris and Rob, and maybe we'll start off with Rob, aka Sketchcraft, about what you thought of Sonic Frontiers preview.
Hey, so yeah. If you are waiting for a new Sonic game, you're super excited. I'm not gonna take that away from you. I don't want to take that away from you. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, nah, you shouldn't be. You should be excited. New Sonic's game coming. Like, how often does that happen? Not often, right? So it looks competent to me. You know, just as a Sonic fan and a lifelong Sonic fan, it looks competent, but it looks like an upscaled like early Switch demo, you know, something from PS3 or PS4 era lighting. You know, the tech is really weird to me in that like there's giant pop-ins when you're running fast. I mean, if you're gonna be running really fast, you kind of want like whole signs and like platforms just appearing right before you get there. I mean, like whole textures just appear right when he lands. Now that may all go away in 9 months. That I mean, I'll give them the benefit of that doubt. So let's say all the tech works perfectly. Um, I'm not understanding what we're there to do. Like, I don't
You
understand
mean in
the
this world? Like why we're
yeah, I don't
here?
understand the
Yeah.
enemy. Is it robots trapped you? Or like in the original Sonic, I destroyed the robots to free the bunnies. You know, the bunnies have been turned into mechanical robots and interesting creatures. This is just like geometric shapes. Like it when I was at Game Fan, Dave Halverson, classic Sega shill, right? There's probably no bigger shill for Sega other than Sega than Dave Halverson. When that Sonic Colors game came out, and I was like, "Hey, it's actually pretty cool." He was railing because there was like these food levels, like you know, giant cakes and food. And he was goes, every time they run out of ideas, it's giant food. You know? And I sat there listening to it for an hour, just go off. Because the dude's like 15 years older than me, so you know he's a little older by then. Food, just fucking food. Like, and I feel like the step below giant food is just geometrical robots. Like there, you know, like I thought the giant robot was cool. If like you were like destroying like let's say you were like running up these rails, like the rails. Every time you ran on a rail, it like charged it up or unlocked it, and as or it connected the energy of those rails to where like it then charged up the boss that you need to fight. Then I get the point of wanting to ride on every rail or climb up every wall. You know what I mean? If like those
Right.
like when you're
Yeah.
going up the there's a giant platform they go up to or like a tower. On the side of this tower, like these black onyx like triangular energy things like you know it's just like it's like a texture, but I was like, you know, if when you do that, if it charges up the big boss to defeat out the area, then there would be a point to this. I don't get the point. There's blue coins and then there's gold coins. and I don't. So it's just all unclear. Like it's not easily readable, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
they did say in the video too, like towards the end, how they thought that some of the boss fights need to get adjusted and fixed. So they didn't really go into detail as to like what specifically needed to be done for that. But yeah, I mean that actually is like by far the most interesting stuff that I see in these videos so far is just the boss fights because they're so big and it's such a on a giant scale. But like to your point, there's really nothing that like he seems to be doing to in these fights that really lend into like what makes Sonic like unique, and it doesn't like lend to his abilities, you know what I mean, and kind of feature those
Yeah,
things. It just
if there was like a Mount Fuji scale like statue, right, of the boss, and that you know what I mean, you got to get to, or that you could see the boss that you got to get to, and it's way in the distance. So like traversing thousands of miles as fast as you can, and like also charging up and unlocking things, getting coins and saving things along the way, then I would kind of understand like the design of it. You know, like why should I keep playing other than it's Sonic? And I'm gonna play it because I bought the game. Like I know it should not be unclear, is what I'm
I think that
saying.
was
You
the
know, like
biggest problem was that this is the first introduction we had to Sonic Frontiers as in terms of a hands-on introduction, and it needed more context because you can't just have there was like no commentary. There wasn't like, oh, like Amy's talking to him. Like I think we had some kind of explanation from the IGN guys saying that they were split up from Amy and Tails or something like that. I feel like we needed more of some visual context when playing this game because otherwise, like I said before, it just feels like puzzles stitched together in this island, that is, again, it just feels bland to me, and all the rails and jumping off points, it just feels like they just threw them in there instead of it being implemented into the island itself, which I think would have been more visually appealing, like rails that are actually caves or that are part of the caves or something like that. And this isn't it really. And then the enemies themselves just feel like they were just kind of thrown in there as
they're
well.
balls. Like hey, look,
Yeah,
it's a ball
they're
with a red
like you
eye.
said, geometrical, just balls, just spheres.
Like
It's
like
just
I'm
I don't
looking
know.
at if you go to that Sonic Central thing, like they're showing that Roblox stuff that they're doing, like Speed Simulator, Roblox. I don't play Roblox, but I was looking at that and I'm like, if the world was just if Sonic Frontiers was populated with things designed in this vein, even if the color palette were supposed to be more natural or like just something where like like you want to hit the fuck, you care to hit it, you want to smack it, it's got a little attitude, it's got something that you want to. Why do I want to whack the fuck? I mean, it's fun to stomp on mushrooms or back on Sonic 3 or 1 through 3 where you're knocking robotic
the
creatures.
badniks and stuff.
I sort of feel like since like when they hit Sonic Adventure back on the Dreamcast and they were like, "Oh, how do you run really fast in 3D?" And it was like that was kind of the focus of those two games, but they never got the combat down. But I feel like since then they've developed pretty good combat. Like, there's a part where he's climbing the tower, and I'm like, why don't you just charge up? When he was on that giant boss, right? Why don't you just charge? You can't use your Sonic spin in 3D now. Like they took that out. Like okay, is that something you get back later on? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did
like
talk about
Metroid.
that. There's lots of different like abilities and skills that you unlock. So there is going to be some
Okay.
sort of
All right.
unlocking ability with the skills, and that's something we haven't seen. I would be really interested to see what that skill tree is going to look like. At that point, we haven't seen any menu or HUD or anything like that at all. With this game, but it's just the thing. I think that Sega or Sonic Team, I should say, just is failing to hit on. Like, there's so much excitement over the Sonic brand, like right now, and I think more than there ever has been. And I think they had a perfect opportunity to capitalize on that with a 3D Sonic game that is very much in the vein of what Sonic kind of is in the social conscience today, globally. And I think they should have honed closer in on on that, on what makes Sonic identifiable and what makes him great and all those, and just try to center around that and make a very good game on that, and just kind of go back to basics and just make a very good 3D Sonic game, and just make it recognizable and make it fun for easy to pick up and play. That's, I think, what they should have been striving for with this project.
Yeah, exactly. And this is getting a holiday release, so it's not even 9 months like you inferred earlier. It's more like 6, maybe even 5 before it goes gold, and you have to ship it out to factories and stores. So do you guys feel like it is ready? I mean, based on obviously the minimal amount of video that we've had, but it's been we've gotten at least a good 40 minutes of footage. The IGN guy said he played a good 4 hours of this game. And if that's all he really had to say in terms of impressions, I personally wasn't impressed with what we're seeing so far. So do you guys feel like it'll get delayed at all, or what do you think is going to happen?
I'll let Sketch. I'll let you go.
They're not delaying this game. This game is going to ship.
Have to release it in the
holiday
holidays,
2022.
Right? They want, this game has to come out at the holidays, right?
Yeah, they're what you see is what you get. I doubt there's going to be any tech. If I had to put my money down on around that clipping, that's they're showing you that so you get used to it.
Like, there's bugs in
what are
there.
they going to do with this game? Like, there's nothing that they're going to be able to just like, oh, we can just fix it. This isn't like Ugly Sonic. You know what I mean? Where they can just wrap a new, redesigned Sonic and everything's cool. Like, this game fundamentally has problems that they're just not going to be able to fix from like just delaying the game a few months. I think this is the game we're going to get. And
you remember when we all three went to E3 in 2019 and you guys were super excited to play Sonic Team Racing because it was that follow-up to the really great was that Sonic Racing game?
Team
that was
Sonic
on the
Racing,
because
that was a bit of an overstatement. I don't know if I was excited.
I was excited. I will, because hey, Sumo was back in control, so I had big expectations for that, and I think it was justifiable.
The Sonic Racing game, the one that was on, he had like the Speed Racer car. What was that one? Remember that on the 360? That shit it was a dope game, dude.
Right, that was
I don't remember all the names.
Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, right?
All Star Racing's Transformed, right? That is a freaking awesome game.
Developed by the same company.
Yeah.
So you get to Sonic Team Racing, we're playing it, and I'm looking at you guys, I'm like, it's not good, guys. And you're like, yeah, I know. I'm like, and they'll have time to. They're not gonna fix this. Like, this is just showing us, get used to this, and it felt like a step back. The tech was weird. There was slowdown. It wasn't as fast, like it was using the rubber band thing to GameCube levels of Mario Kart-ish rubber bandy, like the rubber band trick where, you're like, what do we?
I wonder if some of this too is just the limitations of Sonic Team's ability to get this game running very well, like on maybe like a Switch or something, because this game is coming to the Switch, right?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's next gen only.
That's where I go. What is your lead?
It is
target.
Switch.
Like, what is the development?
Well, shit.
Because I look at this, I'm like, this is too. I guess this is being developed with Switch in mind.
Yeah, it is.
30 frames per second, popping.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
Because this isn't. Because you can't tell me that this is like the ultimate of what the Series X and the PS5 is capable of doing.
But they're not learning from Nintendo. You can't do a realistic environment if your lead target's the Switch. You go stylized. You go cell shade. You know what I mean? You go checkerboards and like Kirby level like design, Kirby the Forgotten Land, which I love. Kirby. You go with a design to get around the tech. You don't go realistic like sunset. It's like Sonic Teams like wants to make one game, but then they were forced to make it on the Switch, and they're like, well, we're making our game anyway, you just have to deal with it. Okay. It's just like I said,
the only thing I think that could save this game for me is like if somehow the story and the lore and all the stuff in between that is really fleshed out, and there's something interesting about it. I'm not expecting that at all.
Well,
but all I'm saying is I'm just
The
saying that's
interesting
the
part
only
for
thing that could
me,
like get me in on this, apart from because I'm not interested at all from the gameplays.
yeah, the interesting part for me is the Colossus boss style fight. It's like that's the thing where I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, right? Like when they showed that, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then he's like, yeah, I'm having a hard time like going up this and sticking on him and fighting him and stuff. And so it's like, all right, like if those really work, then there's a reason to keep playing the game, in my opinion.
It's like
You know,
Sonic
like
got stuck in a game of Eco from back in the day, and he's
yeah,
not
don't make
using
fun of
that
Eco,
instead.
man. I love
I'm
all
not
these
making fun of it, but it's like if Sonic were in
games.
there, that's what we're seeing right here. It worked
Yeah.
beautifully in Eco. I love that game, but if it just this is what it would be like if Sonic's there, rather than like having things that really kind of lend in and like lend into what makes Sonic unique in his character in a
I
3D
mean,
space.
now, given they also have that race against time feature, he did bring up that there is it's not just Sonic kind of like casually walking around and solving a game of Twister or whatever the hell they have in those puzzles, but there is still is that speed aspect. I just feel like it should just be more of that, just because of the character of Sonic and how we were kind of taught and explained what he is. If he's the fastest thing alive, why is he just strolling around solving puzzles? I just feel like that concept should not really be part of the game, but maybe, I'm just very old school. I don't know.
Well,
But
if the world,
yeah.
imagine like, you open the game up, you're fighting Robotnik, he traps you in like some kind of cube like world thing, right? Like, and then you're in this cube, like this prison is literally like it looks pretty, but it's a prison, like, and so like to do these puzzles are your way of like unlocking the world to get out of it would be something. Like there can be a way to do it.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to how do I say this? You got to be a fan of playing the game and not the character.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. Like, and I feel like they're trying to find something to do with the character, and I'm like, so just remove Sonic. Is this a fun? You remove Sonic from the original 3 Sonic games, they look cool. I want to play it. I remember the first time I didn't know what Sonic the Hedgehog was in 1991. I was in Cerritos on vacation at my cousin's house, and her stepbrother came home from college, and he sat down with he had the Genesis with Ultra Beats. I was bored with it. I was bent back on my NES. I'm playing, playing Adventureland of all
How
fucking
dare
things,
you,
right?
sir?
It's not that great. He brings in Sonic the Hedgehog. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I couldn't stop playing it. I couldn't stop talking about it. I went home. I could stay there 3 more weeks. I was like, I gotta get this game. I gotta get this game. I gotta get this game. That's so, and it wasn't just because he was a blue character. The world's polygonal trees, the inventive enemies, the robotic insects. So like to see cartoony robotic insects in 3D and wanting to beat the shit out of them would be so fun, right? Like robotic 3-dimensional 90s looking bees and shit would you I'd be like on a every time you kill one, you fill up your little your collector box, so you can see all there's just so many cool things you can do, and it's like, wow, boring fucking spheres, man, and prisms.
This should be in Green Hill Zone. Like if this was just in Green Hill Zone, I think that would solve a lot of the why are all these rails here and why because that's what looks so weird. You look at when the camera is like low and it kind of showcases the landscape and everything, you just see these weird floating rails that pop up like haphazardly throughout the level, and it's so weird, and it just takes you out of the whole experience. And I
If
think
you were trapped in a virtual world in game, those rails could be like cables that are like connecting in and out of reality. You know what I mean? There's like circuits that are like maybe you kind of busted it going in, and you got there's different things you can do, guys. Like as an artist, I'm like, I could by 3 o'clock, I have 5 different pitches for this. You know what I mean? So what is their excuse? The Japanese, to me, I watch a shitload of anime, man. I buy a Sony system and a Nintendo system because of Japanese gaming. You guys know I praise Japanese developers over. I mean, Elden Ring, go look at that. That's how you take 6 years to make a game. All right. And so like Sonic Team is the one thing where I'm like, what are they doing? like they have that. They have to have the talent, man. You know, I just don't. Are old people in charge? Get the young people
Well,
in charge.
it's Izuka who's been in charge of the series for quite a long time. I mean, I think
He needs to
start on
retire.
Shadow the Hedgehog? Was that his first one that he was in charge of? I'm not sure.
Was
Yeah,
it?
he needs to retire.
He's been around for a
I
long
hate to say
time.
it. He needs to. You know, if Ken Kutaragi had to retire after the PS3, he needs to go. I am sorry.
That's true. I mean, just or be
Yeah.
like in some form of advisory role or some cushy, job where they're still paying you big, but you're just kind of like suggesting things, but you don't necessarily have any power over it. But I definitely feel it just needs some new ideas into the core Sonic games, because
Well,
we've
again,
seen
this
Sonic Mania, you know.
it just also feels like this is another example of Sonic Team chasing what's new and hot like out there, because we've seen it before with Sonic Lost World when they were trying to go after like the whole Mario Galaxy thing, and they had this weird world where Sonic could run around it and everything. I actually kind of liked that game. It was fun and it kind of unique, a little bit different, but it was totally a ripoff of what they were going for with Mario Galaxy. And they've just done this time and time again, and it seems like they just don't really know what Sonic's identity is from a gameplay perspective and from a video game. I don't know what they're doing here, but
So is this open? So they call it open zone, and they wanted to be specific about it. Maybe it's just a branding exercise, but when they mean open zone, does that mean there is more than one island, or is this all we're getting and you're just continuously expanding upon this existing world that we see? Was that ever clarified? Because maybe there's different islands that are more exciting, but yeah.
Yeah, it shows him unlocking little areas where these like little, stone doors open up. It's like when he turns the statues. And I think that's when it's opening up like new zones of this world. I'm hoping we see, different variations, because even, other games, like I just played Kale the Kangaroo, and even that had tons of different, variety. There's nothing else here. It's like Sonic got dropped into this lifeless place where there's just these like sentinel drone type creatures, and he's just, I feel sorry for him. It's a lonely existence in Sonic Frontiers,
That's why I keep talking about it. It's like a prison. It's
I don't feel happy that he's here. I feel bad for him. I just want him to get home, I guess.
I mean, it just needs more context, and I do not know why the first thing they want people to see is just like, you have to give some kind of context. Like I think they showed Link waking up, and there was someone telling him to wake up, and that's intriguing. You're like, oh, who is that? Is it Zelda or whoever? And this just kind of like, okay, here's Sonic just grinding on a rail.
Naga's like, please God, wake up, get me out of this.
Maybe he's actually in like a Phantasy Star game or something. This whole time.
That'd be an interesting twist, but I really hope that there's something in the story, introduction of new characters, understanding of what the villain is. Is it Eggman? Is it somebody else? What are their motives? And it will get me more hooked on the game. But I don't know. Everyone that I even see who are thinking positively about the game are using the word hopeful. And I feel like hopeful means like you are like, well, this isn't that great, but I hope there's more than this. And I feel like, Rob, you're right.
Isn't that what it's like being a Sonic fan for the past like 20 years? It's just like with every new Sonic game, you're just like, I hope this one's good.
That's very true. Well, I guess with that, we can end there and just say that, we are endlessly hopeful for a great Sonic game, and hopefully we'll eventually get one from Sonic Team. But yeah, Sonic Frontiers is scheduled to come out holiday 2022 for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch, and PC, because why not be on every platform? So hopefully we'll be learning more about the game throughout the rest of the month in June.
All right. Thanks again, you guys. Also, check the Megavisions website at www.megavisions.net. for lots more coverage on Sonic Frontiers. We're covering everything that's been released from IGN and doing more expanded coverage on it there as well. So keep checking back, and we'll be back for sure with more of these reaction videos as we learn more about Sonic Frontiers. Sweet.